Hi, I'm Chris. I'm a personal trainer and a fitness instructor here at Unite Fitness in Golden, Colorado. Today I have 3 moves that you can do in your home or in the gym to help strengthen your body for cornering on your mountain bike. So we all know cornering isn't so much turning your handlebars, but more that bike body separation. So leaning the bike while also counterbalancing with your hips. In order to strengthen your body for cornering and really tight cornering, we need to strengthen, first of all, your hips and your glute med, which is the side of your rear. Also, your obliques, and help work on your balance. So these moves are going to get you there. Let's get started. The first move I have for you today is a single leg deadlift. What this accomplishes in terms of cornering is it's really focused on balance. So just taking one leg out of the equation really loads the other leg, the other glute, the other hamstring, and obviously focuses on your core. Today I have 3 variations for you. One is going to be a single leg deadlift with no weight. The second one is going to be a single leg deadlift with a rotation, so really throwing the balance off and loading that one hip just as you would with bike body separation for the cornering. And the third one's going to be with the addition of a weight, just because some of you like to go into hyper beast mode, which is totally fine with me. To set up for your deadlift, I'm just going to stand sideways so you can see what I'm doing. But essentially, you want to start from the ground up. So feet are nice and planted here. Slight bend in the knees, and we're going to keep that bend in the knees the entire time. You're going to roll those shoulders down and back. Make sure your neck and head and gaze stay in the same alignment. So keeping that spine nice and flat. And then you're going to pick one leg off the ground. You can take your arms out to the side for balance. And you're going to hinge at the hips. So you're going to press back with those hips first, take that gaze with you, slight bend in the knees still until you feel a stretch in those hamstrings here, and then you're going to press through that heel that's planted on the ground and bring those hips forward. All right, that's variation number 1. Variation number 2, same foot's going to be planted for this example. I'm going to take my arms out to the side. I'm going to hinge at the hips, come into my deadlift position, and I'm going to rotate my left hand to my right foot. So opposite hand, opposite foot, slow rotation, nice and controlled, and then rotate back to center and stand. So notice that was quite difficult. It's a lot of balance, it's a lot of loading in the hips, and that's exactly what you need for cornering. The third variation of this move, I'm going to add a weight. So for this, you can hold the weight in either your left or your right hand. So if your right foot is planted and you're hanging onto the weight in your right hand, you're just double loading that side, really throwing your body off balance. If you grab the weight with your left hand, you're actually improving your balance ever so slightly, so it's a little bit easier than it would be if you held it in your right. So I'm going to grab it in my left hand. Same things apply here, slight bend in the knees, shoulders down and back. You can take your hand out to the side if you want. And we're going to hinge at those hips. Woo! Go down just until you feel a stretch in your hamstring. Then press through the heel of that planted foot. Bring those hips forward and repeat. So you want to maybe alternate sides on this one. You can do 10 to 15 reps on each side of any of those variations, and then do that 3 times through. Good luck! The second move I have for you today is a curtsy squat. So essentially this is just a reverse lunge, but you're crossing behind your body as if you had a skirt. I don't know if anyone curtsies anymore, but that's what it's called. So we're going to go start with that. The curtsy squat also focuses on that glute medius, which is just the side of your hip or the very top of your butt on the side over here. To start a curtsy squat, start with your feet about hip shoulder width apart, something along those lines. You're going to take a step behind your body, so your legs are now crossed, and you're essentially going to sit down and press into that side hip over here. As soon as you're done in this position, you're going to press through that front heel, come back to standing, and alternate sides. Notice I'm not taking a huge step. It's mostly about pressing into that side hip, not taking a huge step. You don't need to take a huge step. If you want to up the ante on this move, you can grab a ball or a weight of some sort, hold it at your chest, and do the same thing. So now I'm just loading my hips with a little more weight. We're strengthening the hips for those coronary activities. And honestly, we're just strengthening those hips for balance on the bike in general. So you can do this, alternate sides, 10 to 15 on each side, 3 times through. It's gonna be Bernie. The third move I have for you today is gonna be a side plank and a few different variations to go along with that. So the side plank is really gonna focus on those obliques, so the side of your abdominal muscles, as well as your hip, and actually your shoulder, and pretty much your entire body. So everything good for cornering and just general fitness. To set up for the side plank, you're going to get on one side. So in this case, I'm on my left side. I'm gonna put my elbow directly underneath my shoulder, and then I'm going to either stack my feet on the side, or you can put one in the front or the back for stability. So this is your starting position, your regular side plank. If you want to up the ante on this, you can take your arm up to the ceiling, and you can also take your leg up to the ceiling. If you really want to get crazy, you can take that leg and do a little abduction, so up and down. This is working now your other hip as well as the left hip. And if you really, really want to get crazy, you can take a little hip dip down and press it back up. That's really going to work your obliques here, really working your shoulders as well, which is definitely beneficial for cornering. But primarily, any variation of a side plank will do just fine. Make sure you do about 10 to 15 reps on each side, and I promise that you're going to be a little Bernie in the morning. Good luck. All right, so I got one more bonus move for you today. This one's called a rotating windmill. This is really, really, really going to work on that hip flexibility, stability, and strengthening those hips. It's also going to really engage that core, and with the variation I'm going to show you, it's going to help with shoulder mobility and strength. To set up for the windmill, you're going to start with your feet about shoulder width apart, facing forward. From here, in this instance, I'm going to start with my right side. So I'm going to kick my right hip out. So I'm now in a little side triangle pose with my legs. From here, I'm going to take that right arm up into the air. So whatever hip is kicked out, that hand is up in the air. And I'm going to reach down for the center of my feet here. As I do that, I'm going to rotate my hand, take my gaze up to my hand, touch, and now pull my hips forward using that nice strong core and rotate back. So again, hips out to the side. As I come down, I'm rotating my shoulder, looking up at my hand, and pressing that straight back up. You notice that as I was making that rotation with my arm or my hand, my shoulder was actually, or my hand was actually right in line with my shoulder the entire time. So the variation of this move is adding a small weight. So this weight is only 2 pounds. I wouldn't go much heavier than 5 to start unless you have extremely strong flexible shoulders, because it's a little bit difficult to keep that weight overhead as you make the rotation. So with this variation, again, I'm going to start by kicking that hip out. I'm going to take that arm straight above my head. I'm going to start bending forward with a nice flat back, straight body, rotating. See, now my pinky's facing you, and then as I come up, I'm going to rotate it back forward. It's a little bit tricky at first, but once you get the hang of it, it's extremely good for the flexibility and stability and strengthening of those hips, and I think you'll find that it feels pretty engaging and awesome on your core as well. Good luck. Bonus time. So those are the exercises I have for you today to help strengthen your body, specifically your hips, your glutes, and your obliques for cornering on a mountain bike. If you like this video and you want to see more tips and tricks, fitness or otherwise, be sure to hit that like button down below, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and visit Singletracks.com daily for gear reviews, advocacy issues, and general mountain bike news from the US and around the globe. Until next time, get strong, get hippie with it, and we'll see you out on the trails.